We've got 7 juicy Am I the A-hole Reddit stories for you guys today. Starting it off with Am I the a-hole for calling my wife's friend's dating technique idiotic? It's important for me to note that this story isn't the story that the title is based off of, but the OP of this story, when we dug deep, had another story that is what the title of this video is based off of. And that story is, Am I the a-hole for saying what I said about why I love my wife? And it's really the update here that is probably the saddest thing I've ever read on Reddit ever. As always, though, guys, we've got 6 more absolutely insane Reddit stories for you guys today, such as, Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother out for flirting with my wife? As well as the story we're ending the video on, Am I the a-hole for cutting off my son after his mom passed away? Y'all know how we do juicy stories today. I apologize, you guys. I have not been streaming or coming out with videos as much because I don't know if you can hear it, my voice. I've been sick for the last couple of days, and then also my mom and dad were in town. I am feeling it now, Mr. Krabs, so I'm doing my best to try to heal up as much as possible, but I apologize. Definitely have been slacking on the content. There should be 2 videos coming out this week, including this one, so as soon as I'm back to full strength, I will be ripping streams left and right, but for now, just give me a little time to heal, all right? Y'all already know the drill. Let's lock in here and read some Reddit. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife's friend's dating technique idiotic? My male 38, wife female 34, had some of her friends over for dinner and we were all talking about this and that. One of her friends, female 32, starts talking about how she can't find any good men to stick around. My wife and her friends are sympathetic. We keep on talking about her and her latest dates, and she starts talking about her dating technique. This is essentially to show as little interest as possible and to ghost guys she likes, since she wants them to fight for her. Oh, okay. Girl, at the age of 32, that's insane. Maybe if you were in your very early 20s, like, sure, bro, those guys got all the time in the world to chase women with weird dating techniques. But when you're 32, like, I'm 28 and I wouldn't do that shit. I refuse, bro. I'm trying to talk to somebody and they're like ignoring me, not responding to my shit, playing hard to get. I'm just like, you're not worth my time, bro. Like, I got a fucking bag to chase, baby. I got 200 people waiting on me to stream to them. I'm not gonna sit here and beg for you to respond to my messages. I laugh and say that that's just plain stupid. And of course, you will not find any good men, since only the bad ones will actually do that. Like, good guys who will respect you will never keep chasing you if you send the signal out that you don't want them. I am on the spectrum and can have a hard time realizing when people are upset, so my wife bumped me and told me to shut up. Later, after everyone left, she told me she agreed with me, but I didn't need to be so blunt about it. Am I the a-hole? Okay, so like, is your wife enabling this woman to do that and not telling her? Because like, I don't think the wife is necessarily wrong. I think the best time to deliver that to somebody is like, maybe not in a group setting, because I can imagine that this person felt very embarrassed and this person might not take it to heart as much as she should if she's getting embarrassed in front of a bunch of people. But that being said, sounds like she needed to hear it, especially from another man, bro. Do I think that OP maybe could have delivered it a little bit nicer? Yeah. Do I think that he's wrong? Do I think he's the a-hole? Not really. Like, this is your wake-up call, girl. Either like pick up the phone or fucking be single forever. Listen, this might be probably like a controversial take, but sometimes bluntness is necessary. Like, sometimes people's feelings need to get hurt in order for them to be like, damn, I am severely fucking up. Do I think that that's always the right answer? No. Do I think it could be the right answer here? Maybe a little bit, especially if she's been surrounded by these friends that just go along with this behavior. Edit. Most of you said I'm not the a-hole, but I will admit that I could have framed it better. I am on the spectrum, but I'm under the firm belief that while it may explain why I would put my foot in my mouth, it does not excuse it. I showed this post to my wife since some of the comments made me wonder some things. First being if they ever told her this themselves, since it's kind of a dick move on their part. She said they have, though not as bluntly as I did. Just saying that that would never work as she thought it would, but she just keeps doing it. Apparently 3 years ago, she messed up royally on her long-term relationship of 4 years. They had a fight. She went out to get some drinks to cool off, and in her anger, she slept with another guy. I asked her if she knew if she was really drunk when it happened. Since it does not excuse her actions, it would make her more susceptible to manipulation from bad eggs. According to her friend, she was not drunk, just in an awful place mentally and wanted to punish him. She then felt extremely guilty and told him he dumped her. Interesting thing to include. Like, not gonna lie, guys, and maybe call me a bad person for this, but I'm like, your wife hangs out with this person? Since then, she has had nothing but one-night stands and short-term flings from not-so-good guys. The best one only lasted 4 months. But due to bad communication or her way of dating, he thought they were friends with benefits and she thought they were a couple. So when she found out he was sleeping with other people, she was heartbroken. She really is a sweet person, very bubbly and kind. I think she might have just had some trauma from her long-term ending the way it did. My wife does not know if she used this technique before the relationship or if she started after. I mean, like I said, guys, I think that technique can work if you're young and you're in your 20s and you got a lot more stupid guys or whatever who are willing to like put up with that. But I don't know. I think I'm catching. I would just not put up with that. I think that's such a waste of fucking time. Like, oh, you want me to chase you? You should be chasing me. Anyway, I hope she stops going about it the way she does and finds someone good. I've told my wife to tell her I'm sorry for the way I phrased it. Also, thanks for the awards. Never got those before. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And some of y'all might call me a fucking asshole for this. It's an explanation, not an excuse. Sounds like homegirl needs some therapy. Like, I think if you get mad at someone, go grab drinks and cheat on them, I think there's some issues within yourself that you have to address. Doesn't really sound like she's addressed those issues, nor does she go about life with the mental of somebody who has the capacity to deal with those issues on their own. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I'm just not a fan of this friend. Let me check if there's an update on this one. This one's 22 days old. Oh, there is an Am I the A-hole with an update. Apparently, OP be saying some shit to his wife. Oh my God, and it's a long boy too. Bro, OP just be saying shit. And this shit's fresh as hell, bro. 4 days ago and 1 day ago. So, sorry, for the video, I don't know how well it tracked, but I went to look if the OP from the previous story had an update, and he didn't, but he did have another Am I the A-hole with an update that I was like, fuck it, let's read it. It sounds juicy. It got a lot of upvotes. All right, here we go, guys. Am I the a-hole for saying what I said about why I love my wife? We have a male 38 OP and a female 34 wife. So, I'm a little bit confused about this. A couple days ago, my wife came to me asking the question that has been asked many times during our marriage. Do you still love me? And why do you still love me? She comes and asks this from time to time. I don't mind. She seeks reassurance. Nothing bad about it. I've always said the same thing. Yes, I still love you, followed by why I think she is amazing. But every time she asks this, it makes me think of exactly why I love her. So this time, I became more descriptive in my explanation. So I said this. I love you because you give me space when I need to have it. You choose to understand and reflect rather than judge and be defensive during arguments. You taught me not only to love myself, but to actively pursue my hobbies. We are allowed to be our own people. You're upfront when you want us time. I'm bipolar type 2 and I'm on the spectrum, so I can have a hard time reading people. She was there to support me during my autism evaluation and learned about it so she could understand me better. This all made her smile and all seemed good. Okay, so I had to reread this because I was trying to think if like maybe this wasn't the best thing to say, but like, I mean, we've been new OPs on the spectrum, so it kind of makes sense. And I don't think anything's inherently bad about it. I just think like it's almost not lovey-dovey enough, which like obviously they're not great at those types of conversations and stuff, which is fine. But like to me, it's like everything he said could have been turned into a more like loving description. Then at the last, I added this, something I never told her before, that I can cry in front of her and she doesn't think any less of me for it. This comment I could see made her smile flicker for a moment before coming back to normal. She thanked me for reassuring her, and we said I love you to each other and hugged and kissed. Since that conversation, she's become very quiet, not really distant, but I can tell something is bothering her. When asking if she's upset, she says, no, I'm not. But I get the feeling she is. Am I the a-hole for what I did? I have no clue how I messed up. Can any of you awesome internet strangers give me any idea why this might be bothering her? So what? Is it just this last part that I can cry in front of her and she doesn't think any less of me for it? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If anything, that's just so sad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm a fucking crier. I'll fucking cry in front of anybody. And if they think less of me for it, that's a them problem, you know? Some of y'all are saying maybe she does think less of him for it. Oh no, I hope that's not where this is going. Oh my God. Let me read this edit real quick, chat. Edit. I got a lot of answers making me realize I should have written more about what I do to reassure her every day and information that might have been missing. I tell her every day that I love her and how beautiful I think she is. I kiss her good morning the first thing I do when I wake up. Then again when I leave for work or drop her off for hers. I am there to listen when she complains about her friends or the latest drama in her friend group. She comes to me when she feels down and I listen to what she has to say without judgment. I make her coffee every morning since she says it tastes different when she makes it. We have an automated coffee machine. She's from the Philippines. I'm from Sweden. She grew up very poor and has very abusive parents. They regularly beat her. She still has scars and burn marks on her from this, though she says she came off easy since she didn't get kicked in the head by her dad. Oh my God. She started working when she was 12 to help her parents with their medicine, dropping out of school doing so. This makes her feel dumb since she didn't finish her education. I always tell her that this is not true. She learned 5 languages by just listening and talking to people. She's amazing. I tell her this regularly. She hated her skin color when she met. She is dark-skinned and was regularly bullied for this as a child. I do all the dishes since she doesn't like doing them, except for when she feels guilty about me doing them all the time. I reassure her I don't mind. I buy her flowers. Her favorites are tulips, even though it makes her itchy and makes her sneeze. I give her massages when she is worn out or her feet aches. I cook her favorite foods, plan date nights, and go out of my way to pick up whatever food she craves. I clean the apartment since she hates clutter. I was there when she got diagnosed with uterine cancer. Uterine cancer? I think they meant uterine. Is that how you spell uterine? No, it's U-T-E-R, not U-T-A-R. It's not? Okay, thank you. I was like, am I fucking dumb? That's totally possible, but like usually I'm pretty good at this. Let me just double check that this is not like a different type of cancer. Okay, yeah, no, this is definitely not the right word. Okay. Whew. I was there when she got diagnosed with uterine cancer. Held her when they told her she needed to remove her uterus. This hit her hard since she loves kids. She was convinced that I would leave her for someone else who could give me kids. I always reassured her that I will never leave her, that she is the love of my life. I go with her to every post-checkup. She has been cancer-free now for 4 years. I got her a therapist when she first came to Sweden since I knew she needed help with her trauma. She is amazing. I love her more than I love myself. I always tell her this. And I made a comment about her being my teacher. This is the best way to describe it. She taught me how to stand for myself, raised my self-esteem, and made me into the man I am today. She's always been there to support me and make me want to be better for myself. Maybe a teacher is a bad word to use, but I can't come up with a better one. Whenever she came to me with this question before, I've always answered with what I love about her. Told her how amazing I think she is and what I love about her. Now I can see that I made it all about myself rather than her. Maybe dumped too much on her at once. Okay, so here's the thing, y'all. This is what I was thinking when I first read it. But like, I don't think it was just about OP. It was things that she does that he takes in that makes him love her more, which I don't actually think that's about them. Like when someone does something for you and that makes you love them more for it, I think it's perfectly fine to communicate that. Maybe dump too much on her at once. We have a whiteboard we write our schedules on and write messages to each other on. I will fill it with all the things I love about her, buy her some flowers, and cook her one of her favorite meals. Then sit down and apologize for making it all about myself rather than reassure her about how amazing she is. Well, now I'm super interested because, okay, wait, first off, were the comments calling him the a-hole? Kit Mitten said, I thought his list was super thoughtful. And like, that's where my head was at of like, I don't think his list was wrong. I think he could have maybe done a little bit better of a job of being like, because you are like this, I love that about you because that enables me to XYZ. But like, also, we been knew OP has autism. Like, I know that because, not gonna lie, y'all, like being in a relationship, going on dates, like it's all sales. Like if somebody comes to you for reassurance, if you know the ins and outs of sales and like how you sell your love for somebody is what you're selling here, like you can do a really good job at that. And that's something I'm really good at. I can figure out a way where like if someone comes to me for reassurance, I can be like, hey, I like you. And here's all the things that I like about you. And like I can say it in a way that's a little bit more like flourishy and lovey-dovey than how OP did it. And like I can't expect that out of OP because like if you have autism, you probably struggle with like being a little bit more socially savvy in a relationship the way that I figured out. I'm sitting here and sucking my own dick, but truly like that's something I'm pretty good at is like, you know, at the end of the day, I think they are right where like you should really try to make that more about the other person than about yourself. But like, I also don't think that what OP was saying was inherently selfish. He was saying like, my wife is super empathetic and I love that about her. The way that it just manifests is in him being like, this allows me to do A, which I guess is like, can be construed as self-centered, but that's not the vibe that I was getting from it. Here's my very pessimistic prediction here, y'all, because the reaction that OP noticed came from him saying that he can cry in front of her and she doesn't think any less of him for it. That is the thing that caused her to have a little bit of a flicker of like, oh, I'm not trying to like blanket statement the Philippines here. From my understanding, and I could be very wrong, the Philippines is very traditional. I don't think it is very accepted for men to cry in that culture. I feel like from what I understand and know about it, it's a very like be a man culture. My pessimistic prediction for this is that this is what's really going on here, is she actually does not like it when OP cries. The only reason I bring that up too is like, I think that's the same in Japan. But I don't know though. I think this could go either way. I think it could be a super wholesome thing. It could also be like a little bit more of like a not so wholesome thing. That's what I was low-key thinking too. Unfortunately, I'm from a traditional Asian culture myself, and I was like groundbreaking woke for my mom to comfort my dad when he cried instead of demeaning him. I really do hope it's not that, but like that's where my brain is kind of going here. And we've seen it before, by the way. I don't think this is the first story of like somebody who grew up in a culture of like, suck it up, you're a man, you're not supposed to cry, thought less of their partner for crying. There was like like a story of someone going to the Holocaust Museum and crying when they heard of all the awful shit that happened to them. And his girlfriend who was there was like, bro, get it fucking together. You're a man. You can't cry about this shit. All right, here we go, chat. Update coming in 3 days after the original post. I took your advice somewhat to write her a letter. I wrote it on our whiteboard instead. It's a large whiteboard that hangs in our bedroom. On it, I wrote the reasons I love her for who she is as a person and things I love about her, and not about the things she does for me. I wrote as follows. Hi, Mahal. I love you more than I will ever be able to express in words. Every day I get to wake up next to you and see your beautiful face while you lie beside me. I love it when I hear you sing karaoke and you dance your happy dance when you eat your foods. I love your smile and the laugh you make when you watch your old Filipino movies. Every day I get to look in your beautiful eyes, those light brown eyes with the small chip in the left one. I get to watch your beautiful face as you smile when I give you your coffee in the morning. When you sit on the couch waiting for me to give it to you so we can watch Good Mythical Morning together. I love how happy you are when you're watching your Korean dramas and how excited you are telling me about them, or your latest crush on your latest favorite actor. How you jump and shriek when you watch horror movies, even how you steal my blanket while we sleep. I love your face, every mole, scar, and birthmark. I even love when you show me your boogers in the morning as you hold out your tissue saying, look at this, with a grossed out face. I'm trying not to laugh, bro. Like, I don't want to talk shit, but that's just such a funny thing to like do and or put out on the internet. That's cute, y'all do that, but like, that's a really funny thing to put on the internet. I wake up happy every day to have you in my life. I'm not gonna try to read this, y'all, because I will probably offend a whole ass country, but it's Filipino, I think. I am not going to insult somebody's language right now by trying to read this out loud, but OP did include a translation. I love you so much from the moment we met and in the days to come. I look forward to every cup of coffee I give you. Oh, that's Tagalog? Oh, I mean, either way, bro, there's no way I would read this correctly. Yeah, that would not go smoothly. My wife sometimes works as a babysitter for a couple in Stockholm. She was supposed to do this on Monday, but the kids had gotten sick, and so she didn't need to go. I expected her to be home around 1900. I wrote this around 1300. I then planned to go out and buy her tulips and was going to cook her adobo for when she came home. I got a work call around 1500, so I had to go on site for that, otherwise work from home. So I thought that I would buy her flowers on the way home from work. Well, she managed to come home before me. So when I walked through the door, she had finished reading the message I wrote her. She hugged me crying and thanked me for the message, then asked why I wrote it. I told her that I had noticed her being upset the past few days, so I wanted to cheer her up. She said, I love you, and I gave her the flowers, which made her cry again. After she calmed down, we sat down on the couch, and I told her that I thought she had been upset for my answer to her question. So I wanted to write some of the things I loved about her, and not just what she does for me. She smiled and stroked my arm, then hugged me again. She then tells me that she was upset, but not for my answer. It was different from what I usually say when she asked before, but she thought it was sweet that I liked the things she did for me. Some of you wrote about love languages, which I had looked up. I'm definitely words of affirmation and touch. She 100% is acts of services, so that I even thought of that made her happy that I appreciated the things she did. I asked what then made her upset. This is where it made me a little bit sad. The last thing I had told her was that I could cry in front of her and she didn't think any less of me for it. Well, the reason she was upset was because she felt guilty, for she absolutely saw me as less for doing so. I have not cried in front of her many times, 3 times in total, all of them when I was feeling really depressed and like the world around me was falling apart. Oh my God, it has never hurt this bad to be right. Oh, that's so awful. Oh, now I'm so sad. Listen, don't get me wrong. OP's corny lovey-dovey, but I think somebody deserves someone who's that corny lovey-dovey, you know? Not this person, man. If OP's as much of a lover boy as they are, and they can't even cry in front of their partner without them thinking less of them for it, like, oh, wow. I'm so sad now, bro. Yeah, match each other's freak and lovey-dovey. No, for real. I mean, it's that patriarchy shit, man. Like, God forbid a man cries. God forbid a man feels an emotion. In Tagalog, there's a word that is kilig. It's a Tagalog emotion word that describes a pleasurable, fluttery feeling in the chest or stomach, an excitement tied to romantic or emotionally thrilling situations. It's similar to English notions of butterflies, being giddy, or feeling a cute, ecstatic shiver, but culturally specific in frequency and nuance. As she said it, when she saw me cry, it was as if the butterflies stopped in her stomach. Bro, that is the most sad fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, bro, if telling him that him crying made her think less of him was a stab through the heart, that phrase was her twisting that shit and then ripping it down the rest of his stomach. Oh my God. That is heartbreaking. Yeah, bro, Golden Knight says he needs to rethink this entire marriage. I low-key think so too. I think this is some fuckery, bro. This shit depressing me right now. No, me too. I'm so sad. She still loves me and knew that it was wrong for her to feel like that. I learned that this was something she talked about with her therapist. Okay, that's a little bit salvageable, I guess. The therapist had gone through with her why she might see this as wrong and made her feel the butterflies again for me. Not as strong, but still there. This was after the first one. Then my dumbass goes and cries for her again twice. No! Bro, no. Do not drink the Kool-Aid, bro. You deserve to cry whenever you want. Anybody deserves to cry. Each time acting as an insecticide in her stomach, not her words, but mine. She says she loves me more than anything and she was sorry for being this way. I told her that it's okay. We can't help what we feel. That hopefully in the future, she will reach a point where I will be able to open up to her fully again and she will be happy for it instead of losing love for me. But that day is not today. Oh my. Chat, we literally stumbled across Reddit's saddest story. This is fucking heartbreaking. Like, this is so sad. Y'all, I can't tell if it's better or worse that she knows that this is bad. Oh, this is so sad. I asked her if I cried again, would she lose the butterflies again? And she said she didn't know. She assured me that they were there now. She gets them every time I bring her coffee, every time she comes home to a clean apartment and smells the food I had cooked for her. She told me that she would look at her friends' husbands and boyfriends and realize how good I was for her, even making her think I was too good for her. She talked about how her friends' partners did the bare minimum and wanted their wives to be perfect little housewives. They had to fight to be able to go to school or develop a hobby, while I was actively supporting her when she wanted to. That no matter what she wanted to do, I was always behind her, supporting her in any way I can. When her friend's family needed financial help, their husband complained about paying, but I did it without question. I paid for a new house and bathroom for her family. In parentheses, I paid it for her brothers and her sister, not for her parents who can go and fuck themselves. Okay, at least that's better. And she reminded me of a thing I did after she had removed her uterus, which I had forgot. After she was able to function on her own without painkillers again, she was really homesick and wanted a type of sweet bread that they only have in the Philippines. But the only store in Sweden that has it is a Filipino store in Linkoping. I don't want to hear it, chat. I know I fucking butchered that. Just let it be. That is a 2-hour drive from us, but I didn't complain, just hopped in my car and drove to the store and back again getting it for her. Her friends' partners would never have done that for them, but I did without a thought. This is something that she always thinks of to this day. That was almost 4 years ago. I'd completely forgotten about it, which I guess shows how little it bothered me to do it. Anyway, we hugged, kissed, and told each other we love each other, so we will be fine. I'm a little bit sad knowing that I will not be able to open up to her on that emotional of a level again. That next time, I will feel like absolute shit. The only one who will truly listen without judgment will be someone I have to pay money to do so. That honestly bums me out. But as my wife's most hated Swedish expression goes, it is what it is. I don't think that's a Swedish expression because I'd be saying that shit. The day ended with me cooking adobo and then we began watching Lord of the Mysteries. Thank you all for your help. I really appreciate it. Pep Kane said it best here. The relationship seems very 70-30 to be honest. Yeah, bro. I don't know, you guys. I am glad it sounds like this wife is aware that the way that she thinks or the way that she reacts when OP cries is wrong, but at the same time, it's just sad. OP is a lover boy who would do anything for his wife, but if he cries in front of his wife, she loses feelings for him. That's so sad. I don't know, bro. Something about this makes me not want to be like, get a divorce, but like low key, if it was any of y'all or if it was one of my friends, I would be like, get a divorce, bro. I don't know, man. I feel bad. I feel so icky. I almost wish we hadn't read that, man. I feel really sad right now. You know what, guys? I want to read the comments. What the fuck are people saying? Top comment. I don't know, man. She likes what you do for her, but basically felt disgust for you being open with her. That's a really toxic way of looking at this, especially when we have so many men too scared to be vulnerable, die of fear of being looked at as less of a man, which turns around and then gets expressed badly most of the time. She should feel happy you feel safe enough to open up, not disgust. It's healthy to cry, and you should absolutely not be afraid to be emotional in your own home. OP replied to that, saying yes, she feels the same and is working with her therapist to allow her to be happy instead of drawing away. Since she grew up with very abusive parents and extremely toxic male-centric culture, she has a lot to deal with. Hopefully she will be able to work through everything. Yeah, and then someone replied to that saying you're in danger of having a really toxic codependent relationship. She can't be the person she wants to be for you until she addresses this in therapy. That's how I feel, man. Like, I'm glad she's aware, but like, just because you're aware of it doesn't mean that the effects of it aren't detrimental to your partner. Not to like bring my own shit into this, but like, I've been kind of on the receiving end of this. And like, the conclusion that we had to go to was like, hey, we can't be together. This is not going to work long term because you have something going on that you're very aware of, but it overpowers any level of like logic for you to the point where like it hurts me, and that's like not fair to me. And that's exactly what's happening to OP here. Like, just because she's aware of it does not mean that it's not wrong for OP to have to endure it. I don't know, man. That's fucking tough, bro. Like, I hope something like this pops up in my relationship way ahead of time, because just wow, bro. Like, to me, that would be a deal breaker, actually. If I couldn't cry in front of the person that I thought I was gonna marry and spend the rest of my life with, I think I would probably end up just breaking it off. I don't think it'd be worth it. Fuck you guys. Like, I don't know why. Something feels icky about being like divorced, but I think that's the stance I have to take on this. Yeah, Sam, this is kind of how I feel. OP is so loyal, he doesn't realize the relationship's not good for him. I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking about, I forgot who said it, but somebody said the relationship feels 70-30. Like, maybe I just have like a bad vibe from this wife, but like, that's kind of the vibe that I was getting. Like, it feels like OP has to jump through hoops that this woman doesn't have to jump through. And to me, that's unfair. Like, I'm a big fan of when you're in a relationship, the energies need to be matched. And like, I feel like this wife is not matching OP's energy. Like, OP would fall on the sword for his wife is what it sounds like. This wife does not sound like that's the same. Yeah, exactly, Miriam. He has to walk on eggshells now emotionally. And like, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, bro. I've been there. That shit sucks. That is not how you have a healthy relationship. If he's worried about like, man, I have this terrible thing happening to me that I want to cry about to my partner, but I literally can't because then she's gonna fall out of love with me. Like, how is that in any way, shape, or form a fair way for a person to live? Oh, this is so sad. Oh my God, that is some of the saddest shit I think I've ever seen, bro. Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother out for flirting with my wife? Me, 25 male, and my wife, 25 female, have been together since high school. She's sweet, smart, soft, shy, and fiercely loyal, and this situation just proves that. I love her more than anything. She's the love of my life. My brother, 35 male, recently got kicked out by my parents because he's never worked a real job, just weird low-paying nonsense, and recently quit another one of those weird low-paying nonsense jobs. From what my mom told me, my parents understandably lectured him again, and he lost his shit. He was gonna be homeless, so my parents begged me to let him live with me for a while. That's so weird to me. Hey, we're gonna kick you out, but then beg your younger brother, who's basically a brand new adult, to take you in instead. Interesting. I decided to help. My wife also deciding that maybe we could help him. The conditions were that he'd clean his room, look for a job, and not be a lazy bum. My wife and I both work from home, so we'd be with him the entire day. 6 days ago, my wife came to me and told me he was flirting with her. Like, not just saying she's pretty, but more like telling her he'd give her a better life and telling her to sleep with him. She insulted him quite badly by calling him a useless old man that's nearly 40 and doesn't even own a car or have a life or even a girlfriend. Damn! I mean, she cooking, bro. I'm sorry. If you're 35 and you're a loser and you're not just hitting on a woman, but you're hitting on your fucking 25-year-old brother's 25-year-old wife, you need to get your shit together, my guy. I've said this, y'all. If you are like that old and you do not have your life together, I firmly believe you shouldn't be dating. And further, I don't think anybody should be dating someone like that. Listen, man, if you're like 25 and figuring out your life, I get it. If you're like 35 and figuring out your life, get it the fuck together. You are not dating material. Figure out your shit and become dating material. To that, he responded by being rude to me in my own house, telling me what to do because he's older. And when my wife told me about this, it made me see why he was acting like a child. I told him to get out of my house, and we ended up fighting, swearing, and screaming for about 10 minutes. That's when my wife finally called my parents, who came and picked him up. My wife was crying. All the while, my parents are shouting at both of us, especially shouting at me, even though he started the shouting. And for what? I don't even really know. After they left, I was just so angry and cried to my wife, and we both cried for a good 10 or 15 minutes. We watched a movie afterwards. I chose to watch The Perfect Date. Yeah, I know I'm corny, say what you want. My brother is back with our parents, who are now pissed at me. I don't feel like the a-hole, but at the same time, I kind of do. Thank you for reading. I look forward to seeing your opinions. OP, man, hold your wife's hand while I tell you this. You got to get rid of your brother and your fucking parents. Your parents sound like the reason your brother fucking sucks. Don't get me wrong. I think the brother's pretty heinous for flirting with the wife, but I also think the parents are just dog shit for fucking being like, hey, I know I created this monster child, and instead of kicking him out and making him homeless and like giving him the wake-up call he so truly needs, I'm going to beg my 25-year-old son to take him in instead. Like, that to me is a failure to parent. Me personally. You guys might have different opinions, but like, that is not how I want to be parenting my child. And even further, like when the brother does some heinous shit and has to get kicked out of the house that you begged for him to stay at, you should not be shouting at the guy who had to kick out the kid. I think OP needs to go no contact with that whole family. Yeah, how did OP turn out so awesome crazy? For real, an anomaly, man. My parents would have beat my ass if I did that to my siblings' partners. For real, for real. Honestly, I still think my parents would beat my ass. Like, for real. They would just whoop my ass, and I would deserve it. I wonder how long they expected OP to take on responsibility for the older brother. Hot take, I think any amount of time is a ridiculous amount of time to expect that. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a repertoire with my siblings where, like, if they needed to fall back on me, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But at the same time, that is not something that, like, if my parent begged me to do that, I would be like, hey, like, this is your responsibility. And also, like, I think the point of kicking someone out is to give them a wake-up call. Kicking them out and sending them to their sibling is not giving the right message. Am I the a-hole for replacing everything my wife loses when she organizes against my will? My wife and I each have private rooms in our house. Nothing weird. No locks on the doors. They are just our private areas. We also have areas of responsibility. She has the kitchen and I have the garage. That means that when I use the kitchen to cook and when I clean up, I return it to the order that she has determined is best. When she uses the garage for some project, all tools get put back where they belong and she cleans up after herself. The problem is that she is a neat freak. She cannot stand clutter. I, on the other hand, have no problem putting my purchases in my room to deal with later. Whether it's toys or computer parts, I will leave them in the corner until I get to them. My personal mess does not pass the threshold of the door. My wife sees this as a personal insult. She will go into my area and organize, and then she will forget where she put my stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that would piss me off. So I've started replacing whatever it is she loses. For example, I like to wear black Carhartt overalls when I'm working in the garage or riding my motorcycle. So if I spot some on sale, I will buy them and put them in the closet until I wear out the ones I'm currently using. She decided that the coveralls don't belong folded in the closet. I finally wore the ass out of the ones I was using. I went in my closet and the spare set was missing. I asked her where they went and she couldn't remember. She looked through all the closets in the laundry room and she couldn't find them. So I went and bought new ones out of our fun budget. Now she's upset because she eventually found the other pair in with all the Christmas gifts. You put it in, why would you, what? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, for someone who likes to be neat and tidy, like fine, but like why are you fucking putting something like that with Christmas gifts? Honestly, that pisses me off the most out of anything. Like where you put it didn't even make any sense. It makes more sense to leave it in the closet where it was originally. She buys Christmas gifts all year long whenever she finds a good sale on something. She thinks I could have been more patient. I think she should stay out of my room. Or at the very least, not take things out of the room without making a note of where she moved them. Don't get me wrong, she's already doing stuff wrong, but she's doing everything that she possibly can wrong. She is overstepping the boundaries that they've set forth, which is he gets the garage and that gets organized how he wants. You get the kitchen, that gets organized how you want, and you respect each other's spaces. She can't do that. On top of that, she moves shit, knows she'll forget it, but yet continues to do that without noting where she puts shit. And then on top of it, y'all, like, where where she moves shit does not make sense. I would be so ungodly annoyed if someone moved my shit somewhere where it's like, that makes no logical sense why you would put that there. Okay, I'm not gonna say I recommend doing this, but if bro wanted to be unhealthy about his marriage, once again, I don't recommend this. He should start going in the kitchen and moving shit and forgetting where he puts it. Because I'm sure she would be annoyed too. Don't get me wrong, I don't think fighting fire with fire is the best thing to do in a marriage, but like, she needs to understand that what she's doing is crossing boundaries and super inconvenient. You can't cross someone's boundaries, move their shit when they ask you of it you don't know, and then tell them that they're the one who's being impatient. That's not a him problem, that's a you problem, dog. Bouncy ball, I'm with you too. If someone touched my shit and then forgot where they moved it, I would be pissed. I think bare minimum, if you're gonna move something of someone's, you have to remember where you put it. That's just so unfair. Especially too, like, you guys have made a boundary. The kitchen is yours, the garage is his. I honestly don't even think that's that bad of an arrangement. I kind of fuck with that arrangement, but like, you gotta stick with it. Some of you guys are like talking about divorce in chat. I don't know if it's divorce worthy yet, but I think you have to be like, hey babe, this is really fucking annoying. You have to stop. If you can't stop, then like, we're gonna have to renegotiate what I'm allowed to do in the kitchen. That's how I would do it. I'd be like, hey, the next time you move something, I'm gonna move something of yours in the kitchen to show you how fucking annoying this is. Am I the a-hole for refusing to watch my daughter when we meet my husband's friend? I, 26 female, and my husband, 27 male, have a toddler, 2 female. I don't know how everyone else has it, but our toddler creates so much chaos wherever she is. She is so curious. She explores everything all the time, loves to rearrange stuff, and she runs wherever she needs to go. Basically, she is like what I've seen most 2-year-olds be like. At home, it's fine. Of course, I try to keep her in check, but we have, of course, childproof our entire home. The problem here is that one of my husband's friends and his girlfriend live just 5 minutes away from us. My husband and I get invited there almost every weekend, whether it's for food or just coffee. They are lovely people, but their house is filled with stuff. It's messy and overall the opposite of our home. No problem. They don't have children and they like to have stuff around. The problem is that every weekend I spend 3 hours running after her, comforting her when she trips, making sure she doesn't break stuff or put things in her mouth. It's honestly tiring. And the fact that my husband just sits at the table and chats while I run around like crazy for so long irritates me. When we got invited over 2 weekends ago, I told him I wouldn't tag along. I explained my reasons and he told me that I was overreacting and that it's a normal part of parenting. Chat, is it a normal part of parenting for the husband to completely fuck off and make the baby the entire wife's problem? That's just a normal part of parenting. You know, men being dog shit. Men being basically just sperm donors. Sarcasm, by the way. I told him that either way I wasn't coming. If he wanted our daughter to tag along, he could bring her. So he did. And he came back after just an hour and was in a bad mood the rest of the day. I asked him how it went and he asked me if I felt happy with myself. This last weekend, we got invited over once again. I asked him if he wanted to look after her himself or do 50-50 with me. He didn't respond and went there himself. He's been off with me the whole week, making passive-aggressive remarks about my insane need to always be right and, yeah, other stuff. I'm starting to feel like maybe I went overboard because I know he has much harder time keeping her in check than I have. And even I have it hard. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go there if it means I have to watch her the whole time? Them coming to us isn't an option. I don't know why, because before his girlfriend moved in, he was here just as much as we were at his place. But after she moved in, he has declined every invite to come here. This last paragraph is a red flag in itself, but we're not going to address that because I don't think it's relative to the actual question of the story. Not the a-hole. I am once again asking for men not to just be the sperm donors, bro. That baby is both of your responsibilities. If you go and hang out with friends, you should tag team, making sure your baby doesn't wander off and cause chaos. Because, you know, you brought that child into the world. You should probably take care of it. You would hope that's common sense, but like the more and more we're on Reddit, the more and more I understand that most men don't think it's common sense. You actually very firmly need to tell them that, and they're probably not going to receive it very well at all. They're going to play the victim and then say, oh, well, you're the one who just always has to be right. Like, okay. Judas Love, I'm not even going to touch the thing about the girlfriend and the friend not coming over with a 10-foot pole because there's clearly some shit with that. Like, clearly there's something going on there. That would all just be speculation. There's some weird hanky-panky shit going on with that, you know? Resilient Sage said shitty friends, shitty husband. Agreed. Like, obviously the husband's dog shit. But the friends are shit too because it's like, why are you guys forcing them to come over to your house when it'd probably be easier for you to come to their house that's already baby-proofed and that doesn't need an insane insane amount of oversight over the kid, you know? Like, I think there's something there that maybe there is a tiny little update on this. Maybe we'll get some more info on that update, but I feel like that's like a whole thing in itself. Oh my God, you guys, there's an update on this. A big update. There is so much extra to this story. Let me read the small update first, you guys. Small update that was edited onto the original post. We've talked pretty short about it this morning, and it turns out he got pretty embarrassed at his friend's house. We will probably talk more about it, but yeah, he pretty much realized the difference in how much we both put in. I don't know if I'll make an update post. If people want it, and if something changes or anything, I probably will. If not, thanks for all the comments. I've tried to read both the top comments and the ones that got downvoted, and I think both were pretty helpful for the points I will bring up. Okay, kind of a mid update, but chat, the one that I wanted to highlight. So I'm not gonna read this entire thing, but it's basically a commenter asking about the friends, which is information that we wanted. And OP replied to the comment, kind of giving more context about the friends. Their relationship has always been a bit weird to me. I'm not gonna lie, this friend met my husband when my husband was 17 and he was 25. They talk on the phone for at least 1 hour a day. They see each other at least once a week, but most often it's about 2 to 3 times a week. If my husband or his friend needs to run an errand, they always go together. So it's like almost always been a given that either Sunday or Saturday, we meet at his place. Before I got pregnant, it was usually Saturday nights, and it could go on till the early morning hours, with me just sitting there. But still, he insists we all need to go every time. I don't know. I've just always felt that their dynamic has been weird, but I've not brought it up since I haven't really had close friends like that. And for them, it seemed normal. Okay, listen, because a lot of you guys are like, they're gay, and OP's husband was groomed. I'm not saying that isn't a possibility. I will say the age gap, kind of weird. Not a big fan of 25-year-olds hanging out with 17-year-olds. Did OP say how old they were yet? 26 female and 27 male, so they've known each other for 10 years. Here's the only thing I'd say. Minus the age gap, if these were girls, I don't think we would make the same accusations. Like, I'm just trying to take gender out of it. I think if these were two women who hung out 2 to 3 times a week, talked on the phone at least 1 hour a day, saw each other at least once a week, I don't think we would be making the same accusations. Would maybe the accusations need to be made? Maybe. But I think it could be innocent just as much as it could be not so innocent. Rainbow Gravestone said if these were girls, I would be having the exact same concerns, actually. Here's the thing, Rainbow Gravestone. I think minus the ages, we wouldn't have those concerns. But I think with the ages, I think there is a little bit of a concern. I actually just hung out with 2 friends this weekend. They're both girls. They're really, really great friends. I'm pretty sure they have a pretty close relationship like this. And it's purely platonic. Like, Zervin's where my head's at. Like, it could be a little bit of like a brotherly relationship. I don't know, though. The whole dynamic sounds weird. It could be a brotherly relationship, but it also could be a gaycation relationship, too. Like, I totally see this going either way. I really don't want it to be this way because then there's some severely messed up shit happening, but I think this is a gaycation situation for sure. We got an update. This update is 2 days after the original post. I'm sorry if this update makes no sense. We talked it all out later yesterday, and we both brought up so many points, so I will share those down here. Again, I'm sorry. 1. I brought up his lack of understanding for the work I put in to be a good mother. Also brought up that he always criticizes my parenting, but never tries to parent himself. He argued that I had taken the lead in parenting, forcing him to be a background character. This stems from the fact that he wanted to gentle parent to what I saw as an extreme. He wanted us to forbid the usage of the word no. Oh, just kidding. I see what he's saying. He wanted us to forbid the usage of the word no. Use other ways of telling her, like don't, or discipline in any way. Okay, wait, so I think, guys, y'all are reacting the way that I thought he was saying. I think he's saying that they're not allowed to say no to the kid. I still don't agree with that, but I thought he was trying to teach the kid to never say no. I was like, what? For real, Bouncy Ball, you gotta be able to tell a kid no. For real. If you don't learn to tell a kid no, that's gonna be the most messed up kid to grow up in the world. I refuse this. I'm not strict or anything, but for God's sake, I need to be able to tell my child to stop doing stuff, especially when that can cause her harm. Still, he felt like I had pushed him out of the way, which I didn't. He still parents her like that when they are alone. I just refuse to parent her that way. Okay, so I see this as a failure in your relationship. If you're getting married to somebody and you guys are planning on bringing kids into this world together, you guys need to have a conversation of what it'll look like when you parent your kids together. I think this is a very big conflict in terms of how you want to parent your kid. And like, to me, your husband's way of parenting is fucking stupid, but it's also massively confusing for that kid because one parent refuses to say no and then the other parent does say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, not compatible parenting, not communicating, no compromising. Like, it's like, what? 2, he himself brought up that the way he has behaved during these last weeks was not appropriate, and he told me he was very sorry for that. He told me he had thought it all over, but he also still felt like I played a big part in how he has felt and acted because she's right and you have an ego that won't let you admit that you're wrong. Like, yeah, bro, I guess it did play a big part because you're a big fucking pussy. 3, I brought up how whenever we go somewhere, our daughter becomes my sole responsibility and he just gives up on being a parent. To this point, I also brought up that before we had our daughter, he hated the idea of becoming the kind of dad he saw his family members be when he was little. But he had turned out to be just like that. He denied that and told me that he wasn't like that because when our daughter shows him things or talks to him, he interacts with her when we are out. I told him that is the bare minimum. He disagreed and wanted me to drop that. Oh no, honey. I hate to break it to you, but your fucking husband's a dud. This man is a raging boner and you procreated with it. 4, he backtracked from what he told me yesterday morning. He went from saying that he felt embarrassed to that I had gone out of my way to try and embarrass him on purpose, apparently. This is not true, and I explained my reasons to him. He still felt like I had refused to come with him just to make him look like a bad father in front of his friend. We talked so much more, but I feel like that was the most important stuff. So in conclusion, he still feels like I am wrong. He is right. I can't say anything to change his mind. He refuses marriage counseling or to take action to any of my points. I don't really know what to do from here. I feel disappointed and frustrated with the whole situation. Snip, 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 chop, 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 girl. Listen, the best time to get away from this man was before you procreated with him. The next best time is right fucking now. Like, this isn't gonna get better. You need to marry somebody who's gonna be willing to hear your criticism, take it in, and work on moving forward through that criticism together. And bro shut down every ounce of criticism. And on top of that, when he did kind of take responsibility, it sounds like he backtracked every chance that he got. This will probably be the only update I make to this because I don't think the situation will improve in any way, unfortunately. Thanks again to all you. Even if the situation didn't improve, I still feel a whole lot more confident in myself and where I stand. Well, that's good, I guess. There's the silver lining, but goddamn, bro. Yeah, I think the takeaway for me here is like, if you're planning on having kids with your partner, y'all need to talk about what raising that kid is gonna look like in every aspect and scenario that you possibly can think of and talk about. That's kind of what sounds like missed here, is they went all sunshine and rainbows, having a kid is gonna be amazing, this kid is gonna light up our world and we're gonna be the perfect parents, and then it was like, oh shit, you want to do something really fucking stupid to parent our child, and I don't want to do that, and because of that, you're gonna hold resentment, and because of your ego, you're gonna always think that you're right and I'm wrong, and I'm for some reason your enemy. Like, that's what happened here. Oh man. Like, I know it doesn't work out perfect every single time like that, but you should at least have that conversation, man. He just sounds like such a bad father, bro. Like, not to like sit here and rag on him like that, but bro is just not impressive. I've met forks that could probably be a better dad than this guy. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband no? My husband, 40, and I, 33, are having a disagreement. His daughter, 15, had an ill-fitting, hand-cut tube top on that she wore to school one day. I told her it was time to get rid of the shirt and asked her to turn it in. He said, no, take it off right here and give it to me. Which I said, no, you don't have to do that. Go to your room and bring it back. What in the fucking Republican is that? Telling your 15-year-old daughter to take off her shirt in front of you, in front of your partner. Girl, check your husband's hard drive. What the fuck? The look on her face when he asked was the look of someone who was uncomfortable, and she shook her head no. She went to her room and brought the shirt back. He says I disrespected him and undermined him. I said no, I was protecting his teenage daughter from abuse. What do y'all think? I think you're cooking. I think you should reevaluate whether or not you're gonna stay with this husband. Cause what the fuck? In no way, shape, or form should that ever be acceptable. That is the grossest, most disgusting shit I've ever heard. OP included an edit here. She was wearing a bra underneath. That's part of his justification for why it was okay. She wouldn't have been completely nude. Still inappropriate. Hey man, I don't know about you, but when I have a daughter, if I have a daughter, I am not going to ask her to take off her shirt even if she's wearing a bra. I don't think it's very appropriate for me to see her in a bra. Now, if it happens and it has to happen, like, fine, I'm gonna be mature about it, but I'm not going to punish her by making her take off her shirt and be exposed in her bra in front of me. That's fucking insane. That's fucking predatory behavior. That's call a trusted adult ASAP Rocky behavior. Bro, what? Chat, I've always defended an age gap when they're above a certain age, but like now knowing that, like, girl, you might low-key too be like, you should keep your head on a swivel, honey. Like, what the fuck? Even as a mother who has the same autonomy, I'd still tell her to go to her room and change there. Exactly. Like, that's just so yucky and gross and crazy. Oh, there he is. Hi, buddy. Do you want to say hi to chat? Hello, handsome boy. Ooh, Beans, we have a good leg spot for you. Come here. Oh, big stretch. Beans, they've been waiting so long for you. They want nothing but the beans. The sweetest and handsomest boy. Hello, pretty boy. Chat, do we want delectables? Do we want the slurp or do we want the crunch? What's the vibe? He's the longest boy that ever longed. He is kind of a long boy, honestly. I'm gonna put my face into your belly right now. Okay, I'm seeing a lot more of crunch over slurp. He is also round. My boy is a little rotund. He a little chunky. You're a little chunky, aren't you? But you're just so cute and chunky. Yes, cute chunky boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, chat. We got the goods for the handsome man. First off, thank you guys for over 200 viewers on this stream. I really do appreciate it. Y'all coming through. Thank you, Kai, for the raid. Thank you guys for the gifted subs. Legend of Vati. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Real chicken sandwich. Y'all are goated. These are from you. You know what's coming, Mr. Man. Oh. Is the ghost acting up or what, bro? What the ghost doing? Yeah, there you go. Bro, why are you running from the mic? Like, did y'all see that? He said, weave. We got more trays for you. Bro, can you turn and face them? Oh, and now you're showing whole. Okay, let's put that away, my guy. Beans don't want beans. Dude, he's literally just sitting in the hallway. And now he's looking at me. Like, he's like, Dad, I'm gonna make you look fucking stupid in front of your stream. Hey, man, can you, like, come back? I still have, like, 5 treats for you. Hold on, let me see if he'll go eat them over there and you guys can just get the sound. No, do you not want them? Why are you being so weird? Why are you being so silly goofy? I think he's intrigued, chat. I haven't been running my AC lately because, like, I haven't needed to. But now, because it's getting hot here, I'm running the AC again. And I think he gets tripped out every time the AC turns on. Because it's running right now and he's kind of looking at it funny. Beans, are you AC boy? I don't think we're gonna get any more crunch out of him. Oh, okay, he's coming back in. Hello, handsome man. Wow. Thank you for marking your scent on my door frame. Oh, a big stretch. Oh, another big stretch. Wow, you're so pretty. Has anyone ever told you that? You're just the prettiest and handsomest guy that ever handsome and prettied. Would you like treats, Mr. Boy? No. No treats for you. Just show hole. Oh, did you guys hear that? He's kind of meowing like really quiet. I don't know if the mic's picking it up. He said you guys are stinky. You know what, chat? He might want his food. Beans, is it aquarium rock time? Oh, let me check his food bowl. Oh, yeah, bro. He's on empty. Is this what you wanted, Beans? Hold on. Let me feed the beast real quick. Maybe that's what he wants. He wants his favorite aquarium rocks. Okay, this is what he wanted, chat. Oh, my God. Here, I'll put the mic down right next to his food so you guys can get some more ASMR crunch. Y'all hearing the boy crunch right now? I'll let you enjoy the crunches. Let me go wash my hands. I think bro might be done crunching. Oh yeah, he's right there. You done, buddy? That's all you wanted? You just wanted dad to refill your bowl? Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that if I waited for her to make memories with our son, we wouldn't have any? Oh shit. Last weekend, I, 39 male, helped my son, 14 male, dye his hair purple. Or my good friend who actually knew what he was doing helped dye my son's hair while I was there for music requests and object fetching. It was such a fun day and I could tell how happy it made my boy. I didn't tell my wife before we did this, and that was the catalyst to the fight we're currently having. But for me, it's so much more than this one incident. My wife has been hands off with our child for a while now. His soccer games, little road trips to nearby amusement parks, back to school shopping. She's too busy with work or too tired from work, so I've mostly just stopped having the conversations. Why would I waste my breath to have the same conversations on repeat? Okay. The night we dyed his hair, she started crying while we were talking, saying we were making all of these memories without her. I asked her what she expected me to do. If we waited for her to make memories, we would be sitting in a dark room 100% of the time. My son isn't even really comfortable with her anymore. There's no, I can't take you, go ask your mom. Now it's, I'm sorry I can't take you, let me see if friend is free that day. Wow, that's fucking bad, actually. Like, I was kind of here and I was like, but that's still her kid. But like, this kind of makes me feel like she doesn't treat him like her kid. My wife isn't speaking to me now and I'm wondering if I took it too far. I don't know. I was hoping some brutal honesty would change something. I would have loved having more kids, but I guess it's for the best now that she said no. Yeah, I mean, after this paragraph, if she's so hands off that she has nothing to do with your kid to the point where it's not the I can't take you, go ask your mom level, like for all intents and purposes, like that ain't your kid anymore, girl. And that is just such a shitty existence when having a kid. That's so crazy. Here's what I will say. I think the delivery could be a little bit nicer because I could totally see this being like a situation where she's like coming to a point where she's realizing that she's been a workaholic and she's been neglecting her son, and now she just doesn't know how to like step back into that role, which like still her fault. But like, I don't know, if you're still her partner, if you're still married to her, I think you guys should at least try to exist as partners. But it also doesn't really sound like she's existed as a partner up until this point. Edit, I'm a stay-at-home dad. The original plan was for me to start working again when our son went to kindergarten, but my wife was gunning for a promotion around that time and asked me to stay at home longer. Once she got the promotion, her hours increased, so that time was extended once again. I am responsible for all the household chores and general homemaking tasks. I cook, clean, do all the yard work, all the grocery shopping, etc. I do enjoy being a stay-at-home dad, but I've been ready and willing to rejoin the workforce for a decade now. At this point, I will be getting a job when my son turns 16 and can get himself to and from school. But my wife still refuses to cut her hours even if I get a job, and gets frustrated every time I bring it up. There's no point in me forcing my son to ride the bus or figure out a ride for himself if my wife still won't make the effort or compromise in order to spend time with him. Damn, not looking good for this wife. Wow. I want to know what the wife's job is? No, for real. I mean, I totally understand like working hard to provide for your kid, but like at a certain point, what the fuck is the point of having a kid if all you're doing is providing for it? Like if you're not nurturing it and you're low-key traumatizing it because you're not showing it the love you should as a parent, like calling a kid an it is really funny. I'm sorry. I could have said them, but I said it. Why did we have him? Damn, it looks like the comments are just like telling him to get a job. That's so fucking stupid, bro. Like, this is a great dad. To be honest, I don't really care about what the job is. If she's getting pissy when her partner brings up getting a job so you can take less hours to spend time with the kid you're crying about. It's actually a good point, Lightning McQueen. I want to know more about if OP actually enjoys his marriage with this woman, you know? Like, at a certain point, I think you just gotta divorce her. Maybe when your son turns 16, I think it's time to cut the cord on that one. I'm just genuinely being nosy right now. Like, is there any positive to your relationship? Is she a good wife? Is she a nice person to have around? That's so crazy. That one's kind of an interesting story because like, yeah, I still feel the same. Like I want to know more about their marriage. To me, it makes no sense that they're still together. So we have an update to that story. It's coming in about 7 months after the original post. Spending more time on Reddit to keep up with political happenings led me to remembering I made this account a while ago. The divorce should be finalized within the next 2 months. Before filing, I tried to get my soon-to-be ex-wife to attend counseling with me, but she always refused. The only real answer I have in regards to why all this happened was her finally admitting she cared more about her career than being a wife/mother. I mean, that's crazy to me, bro. Like, why wouldn't you come to that conclusion before you build a whole ass human in your body, push it out of your vagine, put your body through all that turmoil, and then neglect that child for what, 14 years? I don't remember how old the kid was. Yeah, 14 years, probably 15 at this point. Like, goddamn. Our original custody agreement was going to be me with primary custody and he'd stay with her every other weekend. That has since changed. My son made it clear he didn't want to speak in court about staying with me full time, so she agreed to that without dragging him into speaking to a judge. She can come see him whenever she wants. So far, she has visited once and called him a handful of times. I'm happy to be moving forward for my son's sake. I don't understand my ex at all. I've started going to therapy myself to try and wrap my head around the past few years. Her lack of any sort of motherhood instinct felt like it was bordering on sociopathic. Finally, remember to be kind to stay-at-home parents. I'm not one anymore, but the fact that my last post had to be locked because people were being so ridiculous towards me for that reason alone says a lot. I mean, it probably doesn't help that you're a man too. Like, we all know Reddit loves to run with that shit. They have the best job in the world, but also a very hard one. Thank you. That's crazy, man. The fact that people were on a Reddit post about someone literally fucking neglecting their child and they went after the person who's not been neglecting the child because they're a man without a job is just fucking ridiculous. Oh, man. I mean, no notes other than I think if the son is not in therapy, OP should definitely put them in therapy. Like, good on OP to get therapy for himself, but like it's gonna be hard for this kid to grapple with like, my mom has never wanted me, probably never loved me. Like, that's definitely gonna take a toll on him. I would just recommend doing a little extra for him because that's gonna definitely be something that comes crashing down maybe when they get older. I wonder if she ever wanted kids. That's a good point. She could have gotten pressured into it. I don't know. Still though, like, I don't know. I'm not 100% my dad was interested in parenthood. Well, that's the thing, Resilient Sages. I think it's more normalized for dads to have no part in like raising their child. And that's like the norm because they're the breadwinner. But like, I've stood on business this entire time. And I said it in that video, like, what's the fucking point of having a kid if you're not going to take a step back from your career to like nurture that kid, spend time with that kid and help them grow into a fully functioning adult because they've been nurtured and loved by both their parents? Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think I would ever bring a kid in this world unless I knew and was committed to giving that kid the nurture and love that they need as much as humanly possible. Like, I never want to give this up completely, but y'all can bet your ass if I had a kid, y'all would not see me streaming as much as I do. You know, I would not be working, I would not be uploading as much as I do, which is why like I don't have a kid because I don't want to take that hit to my career right now. But like, it's all about awareness. You need to be aware of like what you want out of life and then stick to that. This woman, if she really cared about her career, she should have thought of that before she pumped out a kid and neglected it for 14 years. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my son after his mom passed away? I've been my son's dad since he was 1. He is 27 now. I was friends with his mom for years before she got pregnant and the bio dad took off. I was around helping her with stuff and one thing led to another and we got together. It wasn't really planned or anything, it just happened. Her and I cared for each other deeply, but it wasn't some huge romantic story. We were a partnership. We got married when Mark was 3 and I adopted him when he was 5. Tammy took care of Mark, me, and my house. I worked and paid for everything. It was a good life. I had never wanted kids, but I loved Mark and gave him everything I could, not just material goods. I was there for him growing up. I attended all of his extracurricular activities that I could. I taught him how to ride a bike and how to change his oil. We took him on vacations. I made sure that when he graduated from university, he was debt-free. Damn, okay. So OP wasn't just the stepdad. He was the dad that stepped up for real, for real. He was always a good kid. University changed him. He became distant. He would call to talk to his mom, but not me. It turns out he met a girl who had been adopted and she had baggage she decided to share with him. He had contacted his biological father and I was being displaced. Mark was everything to Tammy and she supported him on everything. As his mom, I would expect no less, but it still hurt to be cut out of his life. Okay, wait, I don't think you should expect no less. If my partner supported her son, who I had raised as my own, to give me the middle finger and go to the bio dad who ran away from parental responsibility, and she supported that and encouraged that, I would be a little fucking butthurt. I think that is some dirty ass shit to do to your partner who did so much for not only you, but for your fucking cum souvenir. But it still hurt to be cut out of his life. When Tammy got sick, Mark and I would still see each other when he came to see her, but we would barely talk. When she passed away, I saw him at the funeral and then only heard from him to settle her estate, which was not much. She had a very small life insurance policy that she left Mark. Everything else was mine. Her bank account only had the money we budgeted for her. There wasn't much in there because she had been subsidizing Mark's life since he graduated. Like clockwork, every month I would deposit her share of our budget and most of it went to him. How old is this guy again? 27? Okay, interesting. Tammy and I had a separate life insurance policy that we set up. It was more substantial than the other one. We originally set them up in case anything happened to us. The other could have money to live and take care of Mark. I was the beneficiary since I was paying for it. Now that his mom is gone and not helping pay his bills, Mark is calling me for help. I said no. I said he had the money from his mom's life insurance. Everything else is quite literally mine. Even the car she drove was leased by me. He is upset with me and said that I obviously had never thought of him as a son if I am willing to do this. Bro, you never thought of him as a dad? I told him to ask his bio dad for help since that's who he wanted in his life. His wife, Sarah, the girl from the university, called me and said that I would be cut out of their lives and that I would never see my grandchildren. They don't have kids yet, but I suppose they are planning on a family. I told her that I was okay with that. And I am. I miss Tammy, but I'm okay. I have my dogs and my job. I see my sisters and their kids and grandkids. I'm involved in their lives. So am I the a-hole for cutting off financial support to a full-grown man with a job and a wife? No, I think that's the most important part too. Like maybe if Mark was still in college, I would be like, okay, I think you should help this kid just get into the point of his life where he can pay for himself. Does he owe him that? No. But I think to honor Tammy, I think that'd be the right thing to do. But bro, this is a fucking 27-year-old man who had to run to mommy for fucking money. Like, bro, you have a whole ass wife. Figure it the fuck out. If you can't pay your bills, don't even get married. Like, figure out how to do that first. You have a whole ass college degree. Like, go get a job, figure it the fuck out, and stop running to mommy and stepdaddy who you neglect and ignore because you, for some reason, got in touch with cum donor over here. Like, don't come running to them for money. Yeah, bro, I'm usually anti this kind of stuff, but like, sounds like the kid did it to himself. He pulled away to see bio dad. Maybe the bio dad manipulated him, but even then, there's no helping someone who doesn't see he did wrong. You might be right, but like, this is a 27-year-old man. Like, at a certain point, you have to be like, all right, you're old enough to where like you're sleeping in the bed that you made. If you ruin the relationship with your real dad, the one that actually cared for you because your bio dad manipulated you, like that's on you, dog. I mean, it also sounds like, I don't want to like shit on the wife completely. She doesn't sound great. She is also basically begging OP to give them money. Like I'm sure she benefited from OP's wife subsidizing her son's life because by default they're married. But yeah, I just wasn't getting good vibes from, what was her name? Sarah, the girl from the university. Like she's kind of the catalyst to this a little bit. The only thing that I'll add to this is in one of OP's comments, he clarified that the son is an accountant. Bro, what is your fucking son spending his money on? Like, why does he need money subsidized for him? Like an accountant should be able to make plenty of money and they don't have kids yet. Dude, I bet he was like frivolously spending his mom's money on just like stupid shit. And now they can't live up to the lifestyle that they're accustomed to. The way he can manage other people's money, but not his own. God damn. I didn't even think about that. You right? That is crazy to me, man. Speaking as an accountant, having the technical knowledge doesn't mean you have a good judgment. That's true. From my understanding, guys, I will not pretend like I'm good at accounting. That was the only class in college I got a C in was my accounting class. But from my understanding, like a lot of it is just knowing how to like categorize payments or debts and things like that. Just because you can do that does not mean that you're responsible with spending money. Like when you're doing accounting stuff, you're not the one like spending the money and stuff. You're just seeing how other people are doing it and then like documenting it.